Hi everybody, my name is Erin and this is Waiting Moose, where I talk about books. Today I'm going to be doing a review of Kushiel's Dart, this 901 page little tiny paperback that I finished in only like a month. That's all it took. No time at all. Anyway, I have some notes here about the book. So I have a hard copy of the book. I've got some notes here about the book. I'm probably going to read off of those because, again, if you've watched some of my videos, you know I have the memory of a fruit fly and nobody wants to see me forget everything I really want to say. So today I'm going to review one of my best reads of 2017, and yes, I mean 2017. I know it's January and we're a little early for a best of list, but this is absolutely going to be one of my best books of the year. I'm that confident about it. I liked it that much. In addition, this review comes with a bit of a reminder to look at your TBR list, because this one has been sitting on there for probably since 2012, I think, was when I first, maybe 2011, 2012, and it's been sitting there. And I put it off because it was 900 pages. I mean, let's face it, that's a big commitment to get into when you start doing this. And I really wanted to read it, but I kept putting it off and I put it off. And then this year I decided that it was going to be a bit of a year of big books. I'm going to read big books. Anyway, and my cat is being a bit of a brat. Okay, so I decided that I have read George R. R. Martin books in the past, and if I can read George R. R. Martin, there's no reason I can't read this book at all. So setting myself that goal this year to read more of the long books on my to-read list instead of focusing on the number of books I read in the year and reading a bunch of 300-page cozy mysteries that really have little educational value at all. I think I've read George R. R. Martin, I've read Leo Tolstoy. This could absolutely be done. The book that I read, I already mentioned, was Kushiel's Dart by Jacqueline Carey. It's fantasy genre, and the world is very similar to George R. R. Martin. So we're looking at, are you done? We're looking at France. It's not England. This one is based in France, essentially in France, and it's in that same time period as A Song of Ice and Fire. But while it's similar to George R. R. Martin's books, it's not the same. I wouldn't say this is a knockoff. I wouldn't say it's anything other than, you know, the time period and the fact that it's a big honkin' long fantasy. That's the only things that I would say actually make them the same. This book and the trilogy follow the main character, whose name is Phaedra. Now, Phaedra is sold by her family at a young age into indentured servitude. And this happens because she's the child of an unapproved marriage, and because her parents were a bad match for whatever reason, she ends up with a red mote in her left eye. It's considered representative of her parents' unsanctioned marriage, and then added to that, her name, Phaedra, is considered extremely unlucky. It's not a name that you want to be saddled with in this culture. It is set in France, and there's a map, a handy dandy map, at the start of the book that helps us place it there. So you'll see it is set, I don't want to lose my page here, it's set in Terre d'Ange, right there in the middle, which is essentially France. And then Elba is England, Ayr is Ireland, Skaldia is, I'm guessing, Scandinavian Viking kind of stuff, because that's what they remind me of, the people from Skaldia. And then it is definitely historic. So when I say historic, we talk about the Picts in Scotland. So when they go and seek help from Scotland at one point in the book, or Scotland is involved, it is actually the Picts that they talk about, and blue faces, and so that's kind of interesting. So that gives you the time period, and that gives you sort of an idea of where it's set. As Phaedra is growing up in this culture that is set up in houses, so there are 13 houses in the Night Court in Eloa? Was it Eloa the Sea? I can't remember the name of the city. In the city, wow. Okay, so this city has 13 courts, or 13 houses in the night court. And the night court is basically prostitutes. Phaedra's mother was a member of one of these houses, and you earn your mark, which means you do enough work to earn the house that you were a part of enough money to basically pay back their raising you and training you. Now, Phaedra's mother earned her mark and then went off and married an unsuitable man. Oh no. And they go off together and they have Phaedra, and then everything goes wrong for them. They can't get work. They're, Phaedra's cursed because of her bad luck name and because of this moat in her eye. So they end up selling her to one of the houses of the night court as an indentured servant. So she's not expected to earn her mark. Now, a mark is a tattoo, so you earn enough money basically to pay for your tattoo. To get free. Anyway. So when she's growing up and she's got, nobody expects her to do anything other than be a servant for the rest of her life. That's what is going to happen. But a man named Anafiel Delany sees the mark in her eye as what it truly is, and it's called Kushiel's dart. Now, this makes her special, but I don't know if this is a way any of us want to be special, in that she finds pleasure in pain. That's her special ability. So this isn't this character is she's marked, she's going to be super brave and master weapons without any training at all. No. Her special talent, her superpower is pleasure in pain. Delany has a use for that. He is very involved in court intrigue. He buys her from the house where she's been living and has been a servant. And I think she moves in with him when she's 10. And at that point, he starts having her trained in the art of seduction by one of the top, courtesans, we'll call her for lack of a better word, in the city. At the same time, he starts training her in everything. She learns languages. She learns, she is smart. So she's trained in all kinds of history and books, and she learns to speak a number of languages, which benefits her a lot later in the book. But when she's going through this, she's really, really angry about it, obviously, because she didn't want to do this. And he's also training her to be a spy, which is why he's training her to learn various languages, because the more she knows, the easier it is for her to gather information for him. He wants, basically what her job is going to be is watching and waiting and luring secrets from those who trust her. And this starts her down a very dangerous path, obviously, because she is very valuable. Okay, I feel like I've missed a lot of this. Anyway, so she heads down this dangerous path, and I said in one of my comments that about 300 or 400 pages into this book, I was George R. R. Martin. I sat there and I went, oh my god, I can't believe he just killed off those characters. She just killed off those characters. Sorry, it's Jacqueline Carey. And I went, and then I thought about it. I went, oh, it's not the first characters that are important to Phaedra in the story that have been killed off. And it was like, ooh, I've been George R. R. Martin. She is not afraid to kill people off that I care about. This is not a spoiler. I mean, it's you have to expect it in these kind of books. It's definitely not to the level of George R. R. Martin, but there's death and destruction in this book. Phaedra is always at the heart of it. She's not responsible for it, but she's involved, and it's around her. So I don't want to give up too much more information. Let's just say that her life is hard. And just when she thinks she is, things are going her way and she's free and she's resolved whatever problem's going on, obviously things go downhill again because we got 900 pages to fill, and we fill them very well. I thought that this book was extremely beautifully written. I found it to be a slow read for that reason, because I often went back and reread passages and paragraphs because I just liked the language, and I enjoyed the way that the author described so much in so few words, which is something as a writer I've never been able to do. So I ended up reading fewer pages per hour with this book than I normally would. That's why it took me quite a bit longer than I'm used to read this. I think this is the first time I've ever written in a book. I actually underlined descriptions and that carried a lot of weight with so few words, as I said, an almost poetic use of language. And the scenes were described vividly, yet almost effortlessly. And I want to I'm going to read a little chunk out of this. I've got one that I found here that I marked. I know I had more, and at some point I stopped marking them because I just went, you know what, there's so much, and I want to enjoy the book without getting into all this marking language and stuff. So this is from the book. It was the only time I ever saw Melisande Shahrazai startled into true laughter. It rang from the vaulted roof of the salon, free and spontaneous. And then the white lines were back at the sides of Jocelyn's nose, and I could nearly hear his teeth grind. As if oblivious to his discomfort, Melisande patted his cheek and then traced a line on his chest with one finger. I don't know, a lot of this just struck me as really beautifully written and so enjoyable to read. This book is a little more beat up than my paperbacks usually end up because of that. So that was kind of cool. Phaedra's life is defined by mystery and despair, which is what we're looking for in a book like this, right? That's why we read these. It is. But she shines with this inner strength worthy of a completely unlikely heroine. I mean, nobody goes into a book like this thinking that the prostitute who likes pain is going to be an amazing hero. But she is, and she wins the affections of other characters wherever she goes. So she almost builds up this following of people that want her to succeed, but can't necessarily openly support her success. All these people supporting her does not stop her from spiraling further and I don't know where to start over with that. The people that she befriends and who cheer for her and want her to succeed, that support doesn't stop her life from spiraling further and further out of her control. Earlier, I compared this to The Song of Ice and Fire. For some, that may be sacrilege. I've only read 2 books in that series, and I did enjoy them. I'm not saying that I don't like them, but I like this book better. I found that George R. R. Martin's books were very slow to take off. Many characters had very few redeeming qualities. So I look at the Lannisters in the first 2 books, and there's nothing I like about them. And he kills off the guys I want to live. I mean, come on. Sean Bean is dead in the first episode. Oh wait, that's the TV show. I don't even know if I watched the TV show. I just know he dies because he's Ned Stark. Spoiler alert. Anyway, Carrie has made these characters so that I can't hate them. There are bad people in this book, obviously, right? They're a vicious, uncaring society, but at the same time, they've got characteristics that give them an unexpected depth, and I appreciated that, and it helped me not feel a visceral hatred for somebody. And I like that because I hated most of the Lannisters I didn't even like reading about them. Nothing. I didn't want to see them in the books, and I wish they would die. I didn't feel that in this book. So I thought that was really well done. Friendship, love, loyalty, war, deception, and betrayal. Phaedra manages to be at the center of all of this, and the moment I finished the book, I wanted to start it again. So if you think about it, I finished 900 pages. It took me a month of reading, while reading other stuff too. But it took me a month to read this book. And I came out of it, and my first thought was, I want to read that again. Luckily, there's 2 more books in the series. Kushiel's Chosen is next for me. Not next. I've got to find it first before I can start reading it. But Kushiel's Chosen, and I don't know the name of the last book off the top of my head. I loved this book that much. When I talk about unexpected things, we've got an unexpected heroine, unexpected strength, unexpected sympathy for some pretty not nice characters. But there's also an extremely unexpected romantic plotline in this. I was not expecting romance. And it was funny because I was reading on Twitter, someone was talking about looking for a book that had, that was romance, fantasy, like George R. R. Martin, but not. And someone had recommended Kushiel's Dart. And I was thinking, this was when I was like 400, 500 pages through, and I'm like, that's kind of light on the romance. But when I got through it, I was like, oh, okay, I see the romance. Yes, there's romance, and it's amazing. It is so well done. She's not beating you over the head with it. It's not insta-love. It's like, it's just amazing. I just thought that she did so much. Anyway, the romantic plot lines that curled around the center of this novel were so completely unexpected to me, and I thought they were so well executed that I wasn't angry about it, that it snuck up and hit me at the end, and I went, oh, romance. And it's not just Phaedra. There's other characters that have, there's a lot going on here. For anyone that's looking for that kind of thing, this has a LGBTQYA. Wow, that's a lot of letters, and I think I got them in the right order. This definitely has aspects of that. There is no holding back. So there is women and women, women with women, men with men. There's a very strong love story told, actually, about two men. It's good. This will tick some boxes for the diversity. Well, 1 or 2 boxes, whatever. So I highly recommend this book to anyone who enjoys fantasy and big books, and Felicia Day, because I actually found out about this book from Felicia Day's book club on Goodreads, Vaginal Fantasy, I think it's called. And I want to address the naughty bits a little bit. There is some detail, obviously. This is not a book for people that don't want to see the scenes happen. But I would not describe it as erotic in the least. I didn't even consider it a romance. It's not the main plot line of the story, but it is a big part of Phaedra and who Phaedra is. So obviously there is going to be sex, and she's a prostitute, so there's indiscriminate sex. That's what happens. Yeah. So that's my review of Kushiel's Dart, and I just wanted to give you guys all a reminder to check your TBR lists. Are there books on there that you have really wanted to read, either because somebody recommended it to you or suggested you read it, and you haven't read it yet because it's too big, or you're busy trying to read? Last year, I was trying to finish Cozy Mystery Series. So I didn't read long books. I had another goal last year. And this year, I think I'm going to be happy that I'm doing what I'm doing, because I'm finding some books that have been languishing on my TBR that I should have read long ago, and I would have loved had I read them before. So think of it, like, take a look at your TBR. Are there books that you're like, when you see them, you're like, oh, I absolutely want to read that, but oh, I can't take that one off my TBR because I'm looking forward to reading it, but ask yourself if that but is really that important, because if it's a book that you really want to read, you might, let's put it right way up, you might find yourself reading a Kushiel's Dart that makes you think, wow, I wish I'd read this sooner. I can't believe I'm reading this and I don't want it to end. That's what happened to me. I ended up giving this 4 stars, and I think I need to upgrade it to 5. Because I know that it didn't have any... Actually, I want to read it again. When I get around to reading this sucker again, I want to look for some literary things, because I believe they're in there. I just didn't pick up on them. So yeah, I loved it. I think that it really did deserve 5 stars, so I'm probably going to go back and fix that on Goodreads. So we'll call this 4/5, 4.5 stars for right now. But let's go 5 stars. I thought it was just perfect. I love this book so much. So I highly recommend it, as I already said. When I throw books, it never works out quite how I expect. This is why I don't care if my covers get bent. Anyway, I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please give me a thumbs up if you did. I'm hoping to do more reviews this year. Questions about the book? Absolutely. I will try to answer them for you. And this is not going to be the first, or this is the first review for me of this year, but it's not going to be the last. So look for that. I've got some more coming up fairly quickly because I've got some reading that I've finished, and I'm so excited to tell you about what I've been reading. Anyway, thanks for watching. Have a good day.